Hi, guys, and welcome to part two of the Cold Takes Q&A. I hope those of you that listened to part one enjoyed it. As I said at the end of part one, I only got through about half of the questions, and the video was 15 minutes long. So I didn't want to make one long half-hour video, so I'm going to split it up into two. Now, for the record, I did try to follow and contact Mary on Twitter in regards to using the clips from her original video. However, her Twitter is a private account, and as of recording this, I have not been confirmed by her as a follower, so I haven't been able to ask her for permission to use her clips from her original video. Technically, I can still use them under fair use copyright law, but I just thought it would be more polite to attempt to ask her, which is what I want to do. Unfortunately, like I said, haven't been able to get in contact with her yet, so hopefully she didn't have an issue with me using the video clips. Anyways, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get to part two of the Cold Takes Q&A.
Turn on.
Turn on, I guess this is in terms of what I'm attracted to in the opposite sex. First thing that comes to mind, a nice booty. You can't go wrong with a nice ass.
Turn off.
Turn off, bad teeth. Definitely bad teeth.
Reason I joined YouTube.
Reason I joined YouTube was primarily to waste time. But the reason why I decided to start making videos is that at the time I was working at a job where I was pretty much immersed in pop culture, music, movies, celebrityism, and it was just something that was starting to frustrate me, and I hate it having to immerse myself in that. So I created my other channel. This is actually my second channel. So I created my other channel just to vent my frustrations with things in pop culture. In addition to that, I started having depressive episodes and having panic and anxiety attacks, and just making videos and just talking about random stuff sort of helped me feel a little bit better. So those are the two main reasons why I decided to make videos on YouTube.
Fears.
Fears. Small dogs. I've been bitten 3 times in my life by dogs. All of them were small dogs. Bigger dogs like German Shepherds, Labs, Golden Retrievers, Huskies. I get along with those guys great. But for some reason, small dogs hate me. So whenever I see a small dog, I actually try to avoid crossing paths with it. I don't know why small dogs hate me, but they do. Additionally, flying. When I was younger, I had a lot of problems with my ears, and my memories of flying from when I was a child are associated with pain because the trouble in my ears mixed with the air pressure from flying caused me a lot of pain. So anytime I think of flying, I associate it with pain, and therefore I don't like to fly. And I have not been on an airplane since January of 1994. So it's been 22 years since I've been on a plane and flown anywhere.
Last thing that made you cry.
Last thing that made me cry. I honestly don't remember, but to be honest, I'm a very emotional person, so I cry frequently. I don't usually like to admit that, but I'll admit it here. However, I don't remember the last instance that I cried.
Last time you said you loved someone.
Man, I don't remember when, but I try to tell my friends that I love them frequently, just to sort of be supportive and positive, because we all go through our own shit. So even if they're not really going through shit or not really mentioning that they're going through shit, I want to let them know that someone out there loves them. So, yeah, it's sappy, but I do try to tell my friends occasionally from time to time that I love them, but I don't remember the last time I said it.
Meaning behind your YouTube name.
Meaning behind my YouTube name, Cold Takes. Okay, so whenever something big in pop culture or the news or anything like that happens, people like to give their immediate reactions, especially in this day and age with social media, where it's so important, or seemingly so important, for people to be the first ones to give their opinions and their takes on it. And that's usually known as a hot take. What I wanted to do with this channel was just take things that were completely irrelevant and were not trending or big in the news in any sort of way and talk about them. So basically, like reviewing old movies that no one cares about anymore, talking about like 80s commercials, that sort of thing. And I decided that the opposite of a hot take would be a cold take. And so that is how I came up with the channel name Cold Takes.
Last book you read.
Last book I read was Inferno by Dan Brown. Yeah, I know it came out a while ago. I don't read a lot. I used to read a lot when I was younger, but I'm a slow reader. It takes me a while to get through a book. Like, it'll take me 2 months to read a book. I don't know why. I just have slow reading skills, and I end up getting frustrated because it's taken me so long to read a book that normally I just don't even start it, or I don't end up finishing it. Inferno I actually didn't end up finishing, which I'm planning on going back and starting to read it from the beginning again, because I actually like Dan Brown. I know a lot of people hate Dan Brown and call his writing simplified, but I don't know. I'm just into like conspiracy theories and shit, so his writings appeal to me based on that. And so far, Inferno is the only book of his that I haven't completed. I've read all of his other books in their entirety, so I definitely have to go back and start from the beginning and read Inferno, especially with the fact that the movie is scheduled to come out later this fall, so I want to complete the book before that comes out.
The book you're currently reading.
Again, not currently reading a book, but planning to go back and start Inferno from the beginning and complete it in its entirety.
Last show you watched.
I don't remember, like, in its entirety, or just one that I sat down and watched a couple episodes of. In its entirety, probably Boy Meets World. I had a sprained foot just before Christmas, probably back in mid-November, early December. So I had a couple weeks off work, and I didn't really have anything to do, and I couldn't really move around too well. Because at first they actually thought it was broken, so they had me in a cast. And then when I went back for follow-up x-rays, they were like, no, it's not actually broken, it's just sprained. So I was immobilized for a while, and I ended up just binge watching the entire series of Boy Meets World. But shows that I've just sort of periodically watched here and there, nothing that... Oh, I do a wrestling podcast with my buddy. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, Ocho and Ortiz. And I mean, why would you already be following us if you don't know we exist? But yeah, we do a wrestling podcast at Ocho and Ortiz on Twitter. So I watch wrestling programs every week just because I need to, so I know what we're discussing. So probably the last thing that I watched was Monday Night Raw.
Relationship between you and the last person you last texted.
So the last person I texted was my friend Sarah, and she was actually my assistant manager at a job a couple years ago, and we formed a bond. We actually share the same birthday, but we formed a bond and we became friends outside of work. And we were both laid off from the job that we were working at, and we've still remained friends to this day. So we've been friends for 6, 7 years now. But yeah, she was the last person that I texted.
Place you want to visit.
There's a couple places that I'd really love to visit. Top of the list would be Pompeii. I love ancient history, ancient civilizations. So I mean, anything that's sort of ancient, touristy type stuff like Greece, Rome, Egypt, that sort of stuff. I'd really like to visit and get to see some of those ancient structures. But Pompeii absolutely fascinates me. It's the city, along with Herculaneum, that not a lot of people mention. Pompeii gets more of the mention, but they were buried under the ash of a volcanic eruption, and it's just so creepy and haunting, yet absolutely fascinating to see this city that's completely frozen in time by one just completely tragic yet completely marvelous in a way event that took place
Last time you kissed someone.
a long time ago. It's been a long time since I've been in a relationship, just because I've had some bad relationships in the past and I just decided to take some time away from relationships. So yeah, it's been a while since I've kissed anyone, but maybe I'll try to start putting myself out there and get back into the dating scene. But yeah, I was really put off by dating for a long while.
What instruments do you play?
I don't play any instruments. As I mentioned earlier, I have a fondness for people who play piano, and it's something that I've always wanted to learn, and I wish I had taken lessons when I was younger.
Last sport you played?
I used to play sports a lot when I was younger, especially baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. I kind of ruined my knee when I was younger playing baseball because I was stupidly playing baseball with my friends in the rain and I slipped and I fucked up my knee. So I don't really play a lot of sports anymore, but I do still try to go out, especially during the summertime, with friends and just play catch and stuff. But yeah, baseball's always been my favorite sport, and obviously catch is an aspect of that. So catch is probably the last sport that I played. I don't really do any winter activities, which I know, I mean, I live in Canada, so you would think hockey, but not really. I used to be a hockey fan, but baseball was always my first love, and with a couple of strikes that the NHL has had in the last 10, 15 years or so, it's really put me off of hockey, so I don't really watch hockey as much as I used to, and I never played hockey, so I don't really do any winter sports.
Last song you sang?
One song that's been stuck in my head, and fellow Blue Jays fans know this song well at this point, is Blue Suede's Hooked on a Feeling. You either love it or you hate it. It infuriates me, but it's so damn catchy and it's stuck in my head, and I've been singing it a lot lately.
Yeah. And the last question, who should answer these questions next?
Anybody that wants to answer these questions next, if you're watching this and you feel like making your own video answering these questions, go right ahead. Feel free to do so. That's going to do it for this edition of Cold Takes. Thank you very much for watching / listening, because I know I don't really put my face out in these videos. I just do a voiceover and then put random images up based on what I'm talking about. But thank you for watching and listening. If you like this video, please feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I will post a link to Mary's original video in the description box below, so be sure you click on that and check out her original video and her channel. Follow me on Twitter at ColdTakes2, because at ColdTakes was already taken, although it's one of those accounts that hasn't tweeted in like 3 years, but still has the name. So at Cold Takes 2. Again, link in the description for that. As well, if you're watching this, you enjoy my work, and you want to see more, support me on Patreon. I will post a link to Patreon in the description below. I do enjoy making the videos, but I don't have a lot of time. Your support and financial backing would help me do that. So check out my Patreon page, and if you want to or if you can, please donate to that. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.